Village of Dalton is more than $3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henyard is accused of misusing money, and today, she's nowhere to be found.
I've never seen any municipality have so many credit cards out there. Orders going out to each is mind-boggling.
When you don't answer questions, there's something to hide. No,
Despite Tiffany Henyard's seemingly carefree demeanor, panic was brewing as more and more people turned against her. In a shocking turn of events, one of Henyard's former trusted assistants came forward, exposing the depths of her corruption and questionable dealings. This revelation illuminated a web of unethical behavior that sent shockwaves through the community. The drama surrounding Henyard's downfall unfolded rapidly, with fresh evidence emerging, further complicating her already dire circumstances. Once the influential mayor of Dalton, she had overseen a political empire that, until recently, seemed unshakable. However, her empire crumbled swiftly, taking Henyard's reputation down with it. The most recent and unexpected development came from Carmen Caro, one of Henyard's closest allies. Caro, a trustee on the Fenn Township Board, publicly accused the 41-year-old mayor of unethical conduct and using predatory tactics to amass power. According to Caro, Henyard had manipulated residents, employees, and vendors while in office, all while creating a false illusion of success, funded by hard-earned taxpayer money. Despite her outward persona as a super mayor, Henyard could no longer escape scrutiny. In a public speech, she attempted to shift the blame onto others, but her defense only highlighted the severity of her situation. Caro, explaining her years of silence regarding Henyard's lavish spending and questionable financial practices, finally felt compelled to speak out about Henyard's leadership, felt vindicated by Caro's revelations. For years, Gonzalez had voiced concerns about Henyard's questionable dealings, but his warnings were often dismissed or overshadowed by Henyard's stronghold on the township's political structure. Now, with Caro stepping forward, his claims gained new weight, further intensifying the scrutiny surrounding Henyard. "I'm speaking out not for myself, but for others who have been harmed by what I see as Henyard's leadership," Caro stated. Many were taken aback by her sudden willingness to break her silence, but her hesitation was understandable. Henyard had wielded significant influence over the township, maintaining a firm grip on local law enforcement and the public narrative. Speaking out against her came with real risks. Henyard's public speech, in which she deflected responsibility and blamed others, did little to quell the growing discontent. In an apparent attempt to intimidate Caro, she sneered, "I think I'm going to call you something else." However, Caro remained unfazed. "The reason I didn't ask questions before was because I had faith in the administration," she explained. "But as soon as I lost faith, I started to doubt the process." Henyard's attempt to discredit Caro backfired spectacularly when Caro responded with a clear, undeniable truth. She had had enough of staying in the background and was now ready to expose Henyard's unethical actions. She recounted a significant incident where Henyard misrepresented a foundation she was involved with, and even went so far as to visit Caro's home, attempting to coerce her into lying about the foundation's origins.
To be indicted on federal bankruptcy fraud, and the lawyer tonight for Deputy Chief Louis Lacey tells me this is all part of prosecutor's strategy to get them.
Caro's allegations painted a damning picture of a mayor willing to manipulate those around her to preserve her own power and image. With the walls closing in, Henyard faced mounting pressure as more voices joined the call for accountability. Henyard's financial mismanagement took center stage as months of scrutiny came to a head. For months, Gonzalez had persistently requested financial documents and answers regarding Henyard's questionable spending. His requests were largely ignored, and the mounting pressure culminated in a tense board meeting that felt more like an intervention than a routine discussion. During the board meeting on the 15th, the agenda was dominated by concerns over Henyard's alleged financial misconduct. The board was prepared to introduce several ordinances aimed at curbing corruption, including restrictions on travel expenses, tighter budget controls, credit monitoring guidelines, and a ban on using township assets for personal gain. As the board debated these measures, it became evident that the resistance to Henyard's leadership was not merely political, it was about public accountability. However, the most unexpected move came when Gonzalez nominated Henyard for a key position on the board. Given the mounting evidence of her corruption, the nomination seemed out of place in the tense atmosphere. It was later revealed that Henner had applied for the position earlier in the year, and the nomination was made just minutes before midnight, adding yet another twist to the unfolding drama. Henner's unchecked financial power was finally coming to an end, and the board was determined to stop her from continuing her free reign over the township's resources. The last-minute nomination, seemingly designed to expedite the process, only highlighted the deep divisions within the community. Despite the turmoil, Henner was still appointed to the position by a slim vote. However, her appointment did little to ease the growing opposition against her. Instead, it exposed how fractured her once solid support base had become. As the vote was cast and the decision was finalized, it became increasingly clear that Henner's time as mayor was rapidly coming to an end. Her influence was fading, and the foundations of her political empire were crumbling around her. Former allies like Caro and Gonzalez had turned against her, their public denunciations painting a picture of a leader who had lost touch with the people she once served. With each new revelation, the full extent of Henner's alleged corruption surfaced, making it harder for her to maintain her position of authority. What once seemed like an invincible political career was now in rapid decline, as more individuals came forward with accounts of manipulation, financial misconduct, and unethical behavior under Henner's leadership. As her political career unraveled, the community remained on edge, anticipating the next shocking development. The drama surrounding Henner's fall from grace was far from over, and with each passing day it became clearer that the once powerful mayor would soon face the full consequences of her actions. Several residents of Dalton were convinced that the Board of Trustees had a hidden agenda when they nominated Tiffany Henner for a key position. Many believed the trustees wanted to keep the decision out of the public eye, fearing backlash from an open and transparent decision-making process. However, trustee Chris Gonzalez's hasty nomination of Henner had far-reaching consequences, intensifying the unrest surrounding the mayor's office. Naturally, the town's residents were furious. One outraged resident voiced their frustration, saying, "I'm devastated that this woman came into our town and wasted all of our tax dollars." The resident added, "I suspected it all along. We have elderly people who can't even afford basic necessities because of her corruption. Tiffany has to be imprisoned and used as an example. She can't keep spending our money like this." Carmen Caro, a former ally of Henner's, claimed that the general consensus among Dalton residents was that Henner should be removed from office. The community was already suffering the effects of Henner's alleged financial misconduct, which had pushed the township to a breaking point. Meanwhile, Henner's attempts to deflect blame only deepened the public's outrage, signaling that her time in power was nearing its end. Escape accountability. He firmly challenged her claims, demanding transparency and adherence to proper procedures. The tension in the room grew as Gonzalez exposed the irregularities surrounding Keith Price's appointment, arguing that bypassing board approval was a direct violation of governance protocols. Henner's maneuvering was a clear attempt to maintain control over the township's finances, especially after replacing Keith Freeman, a former employee who had dared to expose her questionable spending, with Price, a loyal ally. This strategic move, widely perceived as an effort to consolidate power, only fueled suspicions about her true intentions. Despite her insistence that Price's appointment had been valid all along, Henner struggled to provide concrete evidence to support her claim. Gonzalez remained steadfast, making it clear that Price lacked the authority to handle sensitive financial documents without formal approval. His persistence signaled to both the board and the public that Henner would no longer be able to sidestep scrutiny. As the meeting progressed, it became evident that the pressure on Henner was mounting from all directions. Her once iron grip on township affairs was slipping, and with every exposed inconsistency, her downfall seemed more inevitable. Limit. Corruption. However, her desperate attempt to reclaim authority only further highlighted her weakening grip on power.